friends, and welcome to Pod Return to the Waking Sands. We are a Final Fantasy XIV companion podcast where we explore the lore and story of Hydaelyn and beyond. My name is Jen, and I'm joined by my co-host and researcher.
I'm Levi.
Hi, Levi.
Hello, Jen.
What's up?
What's up, Jen? We just got back from some hot ocean fishing.
Was it hot?
It was hot from the company, not from the number of spectral currents we got.
Unfortunately, we get one, which
Yes.
was cool, but we were hoping for, 7.
Yes, or at least
3.
3. I would have taken 2, honestly.
Hey, you can't win them all.
But no, we had 15 people overall, which was great for our final A Realm Reborn moments. As Golden's calling it, it's the far.
Well, it's
well.
Yeah, farewell. We probably should have workshopped that before we did it on the recording.
This is organic here.
Great.
It's happening live.
Great. It's very awkward. It looks great written.
Yes, correct. Anyway, so that was lots of fun. Thank you to everyone who came on that ocean fishing voyage.
Woo!
We juked the queue system by queuing late and queuing in the French language only.
Yeah.
And it worked great. We got on our own private 15-person boat.
It was very nice.
Yeah. Good times. We had one brand new fisher.
Yeah. They probably walked off of that boat at a level 22.
Yeah. Right? Actually, I wish I checked in because I want to know how much you gain as level 1.
Oh my gosh.
It's got to be so much.
It was every single cast is probably level up, level up,
Yep.
level up.
Great.
Because I was 55 and I leveled twice.
Yep.
It's
good.
hella XP.
Less work to do when we go back to fishing in Heaven's Ward.
Yay!
Anyway, today we are talking about the Relic Weapon Part 2.
Mm-hmm. Part 2.
Part 2 of 3. Jen, how is our relic grind coming?
You know what? We're within striking distance at long last.
How close do you think we are?
I think we're actually legitimately close now. Wait. As far as what we're discussing in this episode?
No.
Real life.
In real life, yes.
I think we're very close.
So what do you think is left then?
Well, we just completed the Mahatma grind portion. So we got all the 12 Mahatmas, and I got a big splash screen that said Zodiac Saga concluded or something like that.
Okay.
I'm assuming we're going to have to go talk to Jelzan and Geralt about some shiz, meld some stuff yet again, maybe get Mutamix in on the deal. We might have to buy some more fancy, super expensive materials so that Geralt can do what he does. Yeah. And I hope that's it. I hope that's fucking it.
Well, Jen, I got good news and bad news.
All right, hit me.
The good news is that is not correct. The relic is functionally done for you at this point, except for the final goodbyes.
I see.
But there is an extra secret bonus step afterward.
Great.
For only true hardcore people.
Oh, well, that's me.
Yes, I know it is.
Absolutely.
So we'll be doing that.
Great.
It's to bring home your very own relic adjacent souvenir.
Is it a glowing kettle?
Actually, you are right on, Jen.
Are you shut up?
I will not shut up because I'm going to tell you that you're right.
Yay! I'm so happy about that, actually.
Great. You can put it in your house that you never go to.
Right? Poor house. The
Poor
outside
house.
looks beautiful, IMO, and the inside is just where I put all the stuff that I get that doesn't go anywhere else.
Anyway, this is not a very topical conversation for today's episode because our past selves are a far cry from this wrap up we're having IRL.
Oh, they're in a tough spot.
They are in a tough spot, especially Jen.
Jen doesn't know.
But next time we'll be caught up with this episode's preamble. It's some timey-wiminess, Jen. Just like in Wings of the Goddess. Check out Vanadil Van Splainer for more of that time-traveling action.
Yeah. Love it.
Jen, don't lie.
It's always such a good thing in a story. Time travel.
Agree.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's turn it over to our past selves. Here we are picking up with our third installment of our relic grind.
Months later.
Yes, but
Not because that's how long it takes, but for us, that's how long it takes.
This is relatively soon after we finished up the book step.
Did we mention how you were doing the techno song from Homestar in the Copperbell Mines when we were running all those books? If we didn't, I just did, so there it is.
Great.
Yeah.
We are picking up with us returning to Jalzahn to level up our weapon again. And we get immediately confused by the interface because every quest in the Hearst Mill area is red.
I'm like, what the fuck do I do now?
Every single time we go back to Jalzahn, Jin's like, I can't do it.
It's red.
Quest broke. Sometimes you must have your relic equipped. Sometimes it must be unequipped. And then you must click on the correct submenu to access the next step, which is not a quest, but sometimes triggers a quest.
Exactly. So this time you see a red quest above Jalzahn. I'm like, oh fuck, what haven't I done?
You haven't.
But if you click on him,
Jen, is what you haven't done.
8 different things that you can do, and one of those is what will get us to getting him to blue.
Yeah, I need to look at the wiki to remind myself of what the current step is called, so I can know what to click on in his giant and increasingly large submenu.
It's like the devs were like, we hope you just go back and start clicking on people and figuring it out, because that's the level of intuitiveness
Old
involved.
School style. What is this?
I mean, yeah.
Final Fantasy 11? Nice. Anyway, we equip a non-relic weapon, and then we talk to Jalzahn and tell him that we want to level up our Atma weapon. And we tell him what type of Atma weapon from the list of all weapons in the game at this time. Having solved the menu puzzle, we now show him the weapon, and it pulsates with the power of souls. To have brought it this far, you have uncommon perseverance. Jen.
I fucking know. So now I'm gonna just let me bask in the light of its majesty for a hot second.
You can.
Before we move on.
He will infuse our weapon with the Atma power, and it glows with the power of souls. Now, Jen, you must
enjoy that for no time. We're gonna change it right away.
Now equip the weapon, Jen, and talk to Jalzahn again. This triggers a blue quest.
Oh my god.
Jalzahn informs us that we are halfway to creating our mighty arm.
Halfway?
I quote Jen at the time, fucking Christ.
I remember when I read this.
Every single step, Jen's like, it's done now, right?
Right?
And I'm like, oh, Jen.
You're so goddamn smug about having done this absolutely horrendous sequence of bullshits.
It's more about your undying optimism that this is the final step. This one will be it.
Me, right?
Because, Jen, our weapon can house even greater power.
Of course it can.
And this power can be attained through the use of materia.
Oh, I know about those.
But not through the conventional method, Jen, you dumbass.
God damn it!
The relic is already too laden with soul energy.
Of course.
But an expert should be able to help us, such as Mutamix.
Oh, well, I'll go visit Mutamix, sure. Okay.
We pop over to Central Thanalan. We explain to Mutamix that we have a fighty tool filled airy Ariself and wish it to gain the power of materia. But they inform us that such knowings do not exist. Yet, we should talk to Mutamix's underlearner, name of Huberton.
Huberton.
He has the brain blocks, but if we give him a lend hand, maybe we can break the blocks.
Very cute.
Hubertan, right, Jen?
Yeah.
Is an Elzen with short blonde hair, purple eyeshadow. This guy is wearing an A Realm Reborn ass robe.
Yeah, this is the stuff you get at level 5 Thaumaturge.
Yes.
But it is true. The poor young Elzen is at his wit's end. We catch him up on our long history with this weapon. And at the mention of souls and uber materia, he is suddenly jubilant.
He is crying that it will not work as we approach.
He's in the throes of brain blockedness.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And we're like, hey man, let us help you with that.
The builder be praised for guiding your steps here to me.
Right.
This is just what he needs. He seeks to overcome the limits of advanced materia melding, also known as the secret joiny skill.
That's so cute.
He has a theory that by extracting the soul energy in materia and converting it to light, we can overcome the normal materia melding constraints. He has succeeded in transferring this light to a medium, but all attempts to bond it with equipment have failed. But our soul-infused relic is ideal for this energy. But first, we gotta fetch him some ink.
Okay. Well, so he's excited about two things. Our incredible soul-infused relic and the fact that we have the assistance of a celebrated alchemist hailing from none other Radzatan, the star's alchemical capital. So, with these two things combined, Hubertan asks us to procure the enchanted ink, and of course that's not just any enchanted ink. This ink must possess superior etheric conductive properties. And that means Rowena. We're off to go talk to Rowena about this bullshit. And she says that we are in luck. A shipment of this ink just so happened to arrive from Taverner, and we can buy them from Oriana with Tomestones of Poetics. Huzzah! So we grab 3 bottles.
Jen, if you're thinking of getting them from somewhere else for less, Rowena makes a point of being the sole supplier of whatever she sells. It's just good business.
I mean, that is correct. She's a monopoly, but she is correct.
And she rubs it in our face.
Yeah, keep drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yeah, we buy the things, we go back to Hubertan, and with this ink, he shall draw arcanima patterns of power upon parchment to create a sphere scroll.
A scroll that is a sphere. No, but it's something.
This is a medium for storing materia-derived light energy.
Cool. All right. So all we need now, is the catalyst to convert the power of the material into that light. Okay? So there's a rare stone called alexandrite, and it's a type of dark matter that reacts brilliantly when light is directed on it. The otherworldly brilliance of this stone means that any natural deposits have long since been depleted, but that means kind of like artifacts, relics and shit are probably replete with this stuff. So we should check in with some artifact dealers, and some of their ancient goods may still have some of the pieces of this alexandrite on them, like as decoration or whatever. Sound reasoning.
And that's the mission. Begin.
Okay, so we got the ink, but we can't use it yet.
Yeah, we got the sphere scroll.
So we got the sphere scroll. We can't use it yet
because we will need to collect 75 alexandrite.
75
because
from somewhere.
We'll need to infuse 75 materia into the sphere scroll.
That's way too many.
There are a couple ways to do this. You can grind fates for low drop chances, pass, or we can do maps.
Love maps.
Good, because there's a drunkard sitting right next to Jalzon that complains that his mother wants him to bring her some maps.
Yeah, suddenly there's a dude who has been deep in his cups for quite some time, hanging out right next to Jalzon, and we're like, hey, that's a blue quest.
Yes, we are.
I'm gonna talk. I'm kind of desperate for those right now. Let me talk to you. So yeah, he gives us some story about his mom, and she wants these maps all the time, and he's like, I don't want to do your map shit, mom. And he's like, hey, what if I give you the maps and you could give them to my mom? And we're like,
sure, whatever.
Okay.
So we agree, and we go see Brangwine in Revenant's Toll.
Oh no, the drunk guy had a name and mom has a name, and they're similar. Hold on, I wrote some shit down. La, 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 la. Okay. Oh, okay. One man's trash. There we go. Drunk sad man, slumped against the wall of the structure, as despondent as he seems. Oh, my notes are good. As despondent as he seems, he perks up at the sight of us and the prospect of treasure. He shares with us a mysterious map, quote unquote, pointing the way to an ancient cache of untold worth. Why would he give away such information? Because his mom will flog him if he doesn't give it to her? This is correct. So now it's our task to turn this map into mommy. Okay. So mom's name is Brangwine. Our junk man's name is Eldwine. And I put, someone sure did bring Eldwine some wine. Am I right? That was the whole point of me.
You are right, Jen. Good job. Anyway, though, Ma will still flog her son because she is mad at him for roping us into his errands.
That's his job. God damn it, the lazy drunkard.
And apparently the ink on these maps is good for removing kitchen stains.
They're basically magic erasers.
This seems like a waste of a map to...
Well, that's the joke. Yes,
I know, but also, whatever.
She will gladly trade these magic cleansing cloths for dead adventurer loot.
Yeah, so Mom wants us to bring her the possessions of dead adventurers, and she'll give us more maps, aka... ShamWows. Why does she want this stuff exactly? Let me keep my secrets, young one, and you can keep yours.
I mean, there didn't have to be a secret at all. It could just be like, you know what, we've looted some stuff in our day. You don't have to explain it. The fact that you're kind of trying to over-explain it is a little suspicious.
But we don't ask questions.
We don't ask questions.
We get now a repeatable quest to get maps from doing what is now called high-level dungeon roulette. So we can do this daily quest for like run one high-level dungeon roulette and then get a map. Or we can trade 75 poetics to Ariana for a map.
Do that.
If you've got poetics to burn, then do that. Yes.
I did that, yes.
Yes. We did one HLDR.
Just to see.
Just for the experience of it.
So that we could appreciate the fact that we didn't have to do that because we had poetics.
Exactly. Yes. But also, Jen, the drop rate of Alexandrite from these maps has been bumped up substantially. Right now, we had to do, what is it? It's 5 Alexandrite today per map.
We had to do 15. Yeah.
Yeah, so 15 maps total. This was not always the case, Jen. So you were getting the light version of this.
As you have told me.
Yes. Correct. It's very annoying, though, because we cannot team up on these things. This is an independent quest step entirely. So we have to break party and do our own maps. I mean, you can team up, but only the map owner gets the Alexandrite. So what's the point?
Right.
So anyways, we individually do these 15 maps apiece. It goes by pretty fast, actually. These seem to have a pretty limited pool of locations, as I had multiple maps that gave me the exact same spot in a row.
Yeah, I had a couple of those.
Yeah.
So, I mean, honestly, this went by very, very quickly.
Yes.
This was the breeziest shit so far.
Agree. We get our 75 Alexandrite now, and we use it to meld 75 materia through the special sphere scroll interface, which lists every variety of combat materia of levels 1 through 4 in the game. So it's a lot to scroll through 75 times.
You get it. It's a lot to scroll through.
Yes. Thank you, Jen.
Yeah.
As you have to re-enter the interface with every single materia that you're melding. This can be done with whatever level 1 through 4 combat materia, except that in order to use the higher tier materia, as in like 2s, 3s, and 4s, you must meld a certain number of lower tier materia. I think it's 10 or so.
That sounds about right.
That you must meld of grade 1 before you can then do the corresponding grade 2, and so on. I think if you go tiers 1 through 4, you can do 2 types of materia, like Quick Arm or Heaven's Eye or whatever, and that's it. You'll get your 75 melds that way. And I highly recommend that you do go deep, as in level up the materia versus like do a bunch of level 1s. Because in general, the prices on the market board get cheaper the higher grade you go.
Where level 1 shits are super expensive.
We did this step not too long after the Dawn Trail release, when I'm assuming most people are focused on like the new raid series
and game shit.
Yeah, all that stuff, and not on doing ancient relics. The materia prices are like 300 to at most 1,000 a pop for grade 1s. And Jin's like, this is so expensive. But in slower times in the game, the prices of grade 1s can spike to like 10k a pop for a single grade 1 materia, depending on how many people are working on their relic grinds at that given time.
I mean, you're not wrong. It absolutely could have been worse. But like, I'm operating, this is Otis. She's definitely not as flush with cash as my main character. No one is as flush with cash as your main character. I mean, how many 25 million, 50 million gil mounts have you bought? Like 7?
2?
Have you purchased the 7.5 million gil new mount? The motorcycle?
Yeah.
You're like, yeah. I mean, that's a drop in the fucking bucket. See what I mean? I'm like seriously thinking about it because it looks so awesome, but that's a huge chunk of what I've got in the bank right now, and we'll figure it out. Anyway,
I'll buy it for you if my 20 million gil parrot sells.
Deal.
I got from a random fishing retainer venture this new parrot minion that is currently going for near 20 million gil at the moment.
Is your fisher retainer at 100?
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
It's not hard if you do daily ventures.
No, but you'd have to get your fisher to 100 first.
This is a huge tangent. Here's how I leveled my jobs. I did the Dawntrail MSQ on Gunbreaker and Machinist. I took breaks from MSQing to just like gather, just to click some buttons versus watch cutscenes for a bit. So my miner and botanist got to 100 not too long after I finished the MSQ. Then I did the role quests for those.
Yeah.
I next up did Fisher because I wanted to do the Fisher role quest. So just like every night I would do one ocean fishing voyage, and then I just do like a daily venture on the fishing retainer, and they're at 100 in no time.
Yeah, for me, that's an excellent dividing of tasks during the Dawntrail experience, and I was just like, I'm doing MSQ, and that is fucking it.
But also, I guess for the record, I have not leveled a single other job. I've got Paladin to 100 because my combat retainer is still on the Paladin job, and I wanted them to be at 100. That is my only other 100 job. I'm actually kind of backburnering my Final Fantasy XIV. Now that we have played through Dawntrail, I'm now finally getting a chance to play the Elden Ring DLC like a month after it came out. Long story short, I did MSQ jobs,
in comparison to
gatherers,
Jen's,
crafters.
Like rhythm and speed, it's like hella.
Anyway, so point being, materia is very cheap right now.
Totally doable. Yeah, totally doable.
This is kind of like the stat customization interface that you get on modern day relics, where you can kind of choose the stats you focus on, except that the materia that you meld to the sphere scroll will then add on to the stats of your weapon. So back in the day, you'd obviously want to do like the DPS materia for DPS, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what the meta was back then as far as stats go, but it doesn't matter. Today, you are never going to use this weapon to fight shit. This is purely for the cred and for the glams. So just buy the cheapest materia.
Yeah.
The stats don't matter, functionally speaking. It's all about whatever you get done the cheapest. Yeah. So we get our materia. And this is really like the mother of all pentamelds, a 75 intameld.
Right.
Because
it's a Google meld.
This materia melding has a chance to fail once you get to enough materia of a given type on the sphere scroll. And it never gets to be oppressive. It's like maybe 60% success rate.
As low as it goes, yeah.
So it's not like a 10% actual pentameld.
Yeah,
but
and
still,
then it's just like, oh, okay. And then that it just cuts you off. Even if you wanted to, you couldn't meld any more of that particular materia type. You have to move on. So, I mean, you might get like a handful of fails. It is not a problem.
Ultimately, so we have to do the thing where we will click on the sphere scroll, and then we'll scroll to the materia we're trying to meld, click confirm, and then repeat that 74 more times.
Minimum,
depending on failures. Yes. Once all that is done and we have 75 materia melded to our damn scroll, we can then go back to Jalzahn and show him what we did.
Look it.
Show him our shame.
So now, with the ink and the scroll.
The ink's on the scroll.
The melded scroll with the ink and all this shit we had. He will transfer the scroll's energy to our relic with a little ritual and some prepared words. Oh, mighty relic of Eld, receive of this scroll the memories of toil and triumph, and with thy newfound light, illuminate this adventurer's path. And then, like, shit happens, and now we got some
then we hold our new weapon aloft. It looks like shit. Like, almost literally.
It's like green.
Yeah, the glow is not attractive.
Like, this was cuter before. We're going backwards, you guys.
You're making it worse.
God damn it.
It does not look good. But it's very shiny. That much is true.
Yeah.
Are we done, Jen?
Get the fuck out of
She's
here.
getting it.
Jesus Christ.
Research into the relic continues. Now Jalzan's new hotness is soul attunement. Our weapon is host to abundant soul energy, but it's still not powerful enough. The problem is soul attunement.
Yeah.
Not enough of it.
Our relic isn't as powerful as it should be, despite the materia, despite the scrolls, despite the souls, despite all the other bullshit we've glued onto it. We've bedazzled the shit out of this thing, and he's like, you know what? We can go deeper.
The energy is not yet attuned to the host.
I mean, it's just like, there's like a ton of it, but it's just kind of like floating around. It's not like focused or attuned, as we might say. It's not attuned to you. So Jalzan's expertise on the matter ends here. But he feels that Geralt, because he's the one who refurbished the original relic, might have some insight, and so off we go. Geralt assumes we are there for a kettle, as is tradition. The fact that we're not there for a kettle...
He thinks that we're a stranger, or like some customer hassling him.
Right, yeah, we're just like, hey man, he's like, I don't got your fucking kettle yet, but can I just do kettles in peace?
He realizes though it's us, and he goes,
he's like, oh.
You again?
Yeah.
Can't a man mend kettles in peace?
Exactly. But yeah, he might be able to help us with the soul relic conundrum, but what's in it for him?
So there are two shitty options and one good one. Which did you pick, Jen?
You have the right to lord this over Jalzan.
That's one option. We are all friends with Rowena.
See,
right?
That felt like, look, the poor man. You don't have to twist the knife.
I picked saying that maybe he'll learn a thing or two about kettles from working on this project.
That's also a twist of the knife. Because we know the skill set this man has, and you'd be like, hey man, you might be better at mending kettles. I mean, it's a total dig.
Well,
it's a total dig.
If we tell him that in earnestness, he's like, maybe you're right. I have felt stuck in a rut.
No shit, dude.
Yes.
But you know what? You obviously are kind of not vibing with this Jalzan guy. And I'm like, if you do this, then you've got some bragging rights. And that might pull himself out of his right. Sometimes you just need a little validation, a little reminder that you have value and you have talent and skills and people enjoy you. So you're welcome.
Whatever our approach, Geralt is in. We all meet up, him and us and Jalzan, not Rowena. And we explain the problem in detail. Geralt has an idea. We need to isolate the energy from external influences.
Okay. Correct. Real quick. I'm going to back up just a sec. When we go to Jalzan, like, hey, Geralt has some information for you. Jalzan, because he has had no success in communicating with Geralt, in any way, he straight up tells us that we are as skilled with our tongue as we are with our weapon. Ayo. That's all.
The issue is that there's too much noise, essentially. The energy in the weapon would become attuned to us normally, except that the ether in the weapon is reacting to everything around it, not just us. So we must make the weapon ether tight.
Yeah, we need to get some soul-flavored saran wrap up on this bitch.
Pretty much, yes. After we make it ether tight, then we can attune it through the normal method, aka killing stuff.
Yeah, so we're going to seal the weapon for freshness, get it accustomed to our personal musk, and then unseal it.
Yeah.
No wonder it's looking the way it is.
But Jalzan wonders, how will we know when it's ready? Geralt says that we can use a simpler version of the goggles the Charlayans use. He can make us an ether magnifying glass so we can peer into the weapon and detect its etheric attunement. Geralt whips us up a soul attunement glass in no time called the Zodiac glass.
Sure.
Now that he knows what to do, Jalzahn just makes up his own special batch of soul glaze. He slaps it on the weapon.
Let your soul glaze.
He gives it a thorough slather of glaze, and we're good to go. We are now ready to begin light farming.
This latter step was just gross. Slathering and muskin and sealing and
Jen.
Just wait.
Jen?
Stink waves, yes.
Before we sign off, we have not yet begun our light farming process. What do you think we need to do?
Light farming. And in nowhere in this latter step has light farming been referenced.
We will have to run one particular dungeon dozens of times.
No.
Aurum Vale.
Shut up. Shut up.
Welcome back to installment number 4 of our Zodiac Weapon Saga.
Are we halfway through yet?
Probably.
No way. Are you fucking with me? Because you've... This whole piece of content, this monolith of content, you can just call it I fuck with Jen for a year.
To be fair, half of that is you fucking with your own expectations because you don't believe me in telling you that it's going to take this much work.
It's unbelievable, dude.
So you agree we share the guilt here.
Oh, no, fuck right off. We're not victim blaming. You were like, Jen, we should do some relic weapon stuff.
Because I
Meanwhile,
created
in
this
your
content.
Head, you're like rubbing your hands together, you know.
Jen, we have an obligation, a moral obligation to play through all of the Final Fantasy XIV story.
I'm not saying we don't.
So I'm not the one who is inflicting this upon you. It is the devs that designed the Relic Weapon Saga, the Zodiac Saga, that are the ones to blame.
I'll give them a little bit of the blame
for
just designing this whole thing.
Sure, just project your hate upon me.
No. You know what you did.
What? I'm your tour guide in this pain?
Nah, just sure, Jen. We'll be done in a little bit. Sure. LOL. Meanwhile, like everybody, you and like everybody else who's listening are like winking at one another. I'm like,
the tape will show how much of that was me misleading you and how much was Jen misleading herself.
And that's fair. I'm actually going to start adding dates to my pages of notes. So this today,
for the record as well, it doesn't take a year to do this, but we are interweaving this with all of our other content, and also we've been gated, as we've complained about, in terms of progressing the relic because of our pod characters being, having not done certain...
we had to unlock a number of dungeons before we could move on.
So it will not take you a year to get it done.
Absolutely not.
It will take some time.
It'll take some time. A lot of people save this and just really go ham on it. Like, okay, for the next month, all I'm going to do is grind for relic stuff.
Yeah.
Your mileage may vary.
Anyway, Jen, we left off last time with you being incredulous that we'd have to run Aurum Vale 100 times.
Correct. And once again, I was, fed crow, and that's exactly what we need to do. Like, all right, Jen, tonight let's run some Aurum Vale. I'm like, okay. And we would like run it. We'd run it like a dozen times a night.
More than that, I feel like, because
20 times a night?
We had our timing down
20 times a night, I think feels right. Yeah.
It was our best time was probably like 2 minutes and 5 seconds.
Yes.
For a clear.
Yes. So that was a fun little personal game. How quickly can we run through this shit?
You gotta keep yourself busy, You gotta set goals.
Correct.
Micro goals.
Okay. Now we have a new time to beat. How about we, and then trying to like time my Peloton and, it was hard keeping up with you because you just annihilated everything. So I'm just kind of like...
The reason why as well is that I'm doing this on Warrior again. Jen's on Bard. I ground up Warrior specifically because I knew this was coming. So even though I've never done like the Heaven's Ward warrior job quest on this character, I'm like a level 80 something warrior. So I have the gap closers. I have some higher potency abilities. It's weird because half the shit I need is gated behind like job quest stuff.
Right.
But I still get some abilities through leveling up as well.
Yeah, you're just mowing shit down.
Well, that, but also the gap closers really help. I got my time down, so I knew, okay, so I need to gap close from here to this enemy, and that cuts off like 5 seconds of running or whatever.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No, we're like it was like a speed run challenge. Whatever you have to do to tolerate the process.
So after numerous Arum Veil runs over several sit downs,
you do it so much, we start to become intimately aware of the tiniest little nuances in the landscape.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, my shin got caught on that little protruding bit of rock for the 17th time and I am done. So then it's me versus the rock. And I'm trying to like not get caught, or I'm trying to like beat you around one particular corner so I don't get trapped behind with all the mobs that are following you. And then they're following me.
And after all that shit, we have a fully charged up weapon that is full of souls. We are mass murderers of mortals.
Yep.
Like legit.
Yeah. It's just full to bursting.
Yep.
It's our weapon is basically a tick, an engorged tick.
Precisely. And after doing all the things, we return back to Jalzan and we play the minigame of which relic menu option do I click? Out of the, now like 8 or so different options, which are not sorted by any sane mind.
No. We got words. We got all sorts of words. We got fucking add to Atom, and we got Novus, and we got I don't even fucking
all
know.
Those words, Novus and Nexus. And
so we're like, where are we now? Because it's not like there's a handy little arrow that tells us this is where you are.
Yeah, and also they are not sorted in terms of the order that you complete them too. So the option we need is like midway through the menu. It's not on the bottom like you'd think because it's the most recent step.
It's the most opaque. It's terrifying. Like trying to do this without, as for like the first time.
So we play the minigame of which option do I click? And then we play the second minigame of do you need your relic weapon equipped or not?
Oh, definitely unequipped. Yeah, he's like, I can't do shit with you holding it.
This time we unequip it and we hand it in. Once we do so, Jalzan can now remove our soul glaze. We heft our Nexus weapon. Now we equip the weapon and we talk to Jalzan again.
Right, because, you've got to figure out what step you are, where you are in the process, which usually means like, okay, I got to reference the weapon and figure out what's the weapon's label right now. Okay, I know I've moved on from that. You can deduce what step in the process you're at. And then you're like, okay, I'm looking for a blue quest. Anybody got a blue quest for me? So like, how about I equip? Does that trigger anything? If I unequip again, if I click, So it's that. So equipping it again, and it's like, all right, great. Now we have the next thing.
The weapon is a success. We contained all the soul energy inside the soul glaze, and that was able to like juice it up fully without all this outside interference. So we have a fantastic weapon, but it's not good enough.
So he says.
He's
like, this couldn't possibly be its final form. I'm like, of course it couldn't. All of these like theoretical machinations have totally worked so far. Sure, yeah, think of something else. I'm sure that will also work.
But maybe Geralt has inspiration for how to take this thing further, which means that once more we have to go and bully Geralt into helping. At first, he is dismissive, but maybe he can get another bottle of drink if he helps us out, so he's down for more of that sweet Jalzan booze.
Yeah, he's a simple man. That is not true, but we know how to get him to do stuff. So Geralt is confused why we're still trying to do what we're doing. So he walks over to where we're hanging out with Jalzan, and Geralt says to Jalzan, the reason why you're so frustrated right now is because you're trying to improve upon something that cannot be improved upon. You've reached perfection. Just fucking knock it off. Be happy with what you've done. And Jalzan is like, there's no way. There's no way. And Geralt, is like, Okay, the wording on this is very awkward. Well, okay, so Jalzon's like, there's got to be a way to continue improving upon this thing. It's not possible that we've hit the peak. And Geralt is like, it is, because if you're trying to turn our weapon into the same thing as wielded by, in my case, the Zodiac Braves. Is that also in your case? This is all Zodiac Braves shit? Okay,
correct.
Great. It'll never happen. This weapon is different. It's forged differently. It's different material. Like, it's not the same shit.
Right. Jalzon's like, fine, I'm going to go and hit the books to figure out if we can bring this thing closer to the original. And Geralt is shocked. What? Books can tell you a way to better forge steel? Why, he ought to read a book himself.
I mean, yeah. So if there's some new method of forging steel in a book somewhere, then Geralt is suddenly like completely on board now. So John is like, oh, kind of like this? And he just fucking pulls out a book. This is the book that Jalzon uses for reference. He's been using it this whole time. And he's like, if the information exists, it's going to be here. But the book is difficult to parse even for Jalzon, or, you know, the scholarliest of scholars. And Geralt's like, give me it. Let me take a look.
Jalzon says it would take a genius to eke out new techniques from the snippets of text about the Zodiac weapons within this tome. But Geralt says he is a genius at weaponsmithing.
This is true. And Jalzon's like, you know, it's really difficult to read this book. They've only been able to pull out little bits and pieces about how to do stuff. The rest of it is a total mystery. It's like essentially in a language that nobody speaks. But Geralt speaks it. He takes one look at this book and he's like, boom, got it. Amazing.
This is some bleedin' brilliant weaponsmithing written down here.
Yeah.
His finest kettle work pales in comparison. But, wonders Jalzon, what are the materials? You simply cannot find the catalysts used by the ancients. Well, says Geralt, maybe so, but given the tools, he could fashion a fair replica of a Zodiac arm. He's not sure what it would take, though, to infuse this replica with a soul. But then he thinks and he recounts all the steps we've taken so far. And he's got it. We just need to get our relic's soul energy to ascend to a legendary host weapon. So we are sent to work. We have to find tomes that depict how these ancient weapons looked, and we have to find materials that we can shape into their form, and we'll need some extra special materia to infuse the host with soul energy. Once we gather all the bits and bobs, we can return to Geralt. So we get to work. This is a lot of doing, Jen.
So, okay, you're about to launch into the Papana
Yes.
stuff. Okay, I have a little bit more. I mean, this is like more of the same, right? Just new names of things. We're going to need a new
Jen,
catalyst because the Alexandrite is no longer powerful enough.
Everything is names of things. This step is legally distinct, Jen, because we have other mechanics present here that were not present previously.
I mean, like, yeah, we got to basically find, like, not just the material for the new weapon. Like, Geralt needs something to forge a weapon out of. Well, we need to find, like, you know, a steel, but something that can be manipulated. I don't even know. I don't speak Geralt. That's fine. It would make sense. Again, we're not told where to go. You just have to kind of know or figure it out. Apparently, the person we need to talk to is in Mordona.
One of 4 people.
Right. So it's not Rowena. It's not Usana. It's yet another person. And this person is named Papana. And she is a book peddler helping out her friend Usana. And Usana, we got the books from her a million years ago to do like the fates and the mob kills and the dungeons and stuff to fill out those books to get the things. And okay, we're looking for a book about heroes and the weapons they wielded. And we are lucky because she spied just the tome the other day. And all we need to trade for it is something called a bombard core, some sacred spring water, and a bronze lake crystal.
The bombard cores are bought for 20,000 Grand Company seals each, You need 4 of these in total for this quest line. The spring water is bought for 200 poetics, 200 tomestones of poetics. You'll need 4 of these for this quest line. And we can buy the crystal from the junkmonger for 100,000 gil in Bronze Lake.
Jesus Christ.
It's a small price to pay, Jen.
I
to move this shit along.
Broken 3 million gil.
Well, not anymore.
Yeah, no. So we take the very rare, very expensive items back to Papana, and we're like, this is going to be great. We're giving her hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stuff for this one book. And she's looking at all the stuff, and she's like, gosh, your Bombard core is looking a little dingy. The Sacred Spring Water kind of smells funny. Gosh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do much with this. As a favor to you, I'm going to... I'll accept some replacement items to make up for these being completely subpar and unusable. I'm like, oh, we're getting scammed. Great. The 2 things she wants now can be found in Zamil Darkhold and Brave Flock's Longstop. Cool, more dungeon shit. The first stop, we need Horn of the Beast and a Gob Machine Bang Plate from those 2 respective areas. So we run the dungeons, we get this stuff, and we go back to Papana, and we're like, here you go! Hopefully this will make up for the flaws, so-called, in our previous delivery. And she's like, these are great, but you really took a bit of time doing it. And it's really kind of unprofessional of you to come to me with this stuff after so long.
She also has another buyer lined up.
Of course she does. So, see in the pot, you got some competition now. So here are some more things that I'm going to need from you. And these are Narasima Hide from Halatali Hard, a Sickle Fang from Snowcloak. Oh, it's just those 2 things.
For now.
So we go do that. We turn those things in. And she's like, you know what? This is great. Absolutely. I would love to give you this book. I can't give you this book right now. Rowena asked me to do this big chore, and it's like a real big chore, and I don't know how long it's going to take me, so I can't really do much about, the giving to you of a book, something that will take 7 seconds. But she's like, if I disappoint Rowena, it's bad news for me, it's bad news for Gusana, it's non-negotiable. But, what you could do is get me some stuff that would help make this chore go by a little faster. She has to burn a bunch of books. So she needs some stuff that will make her a huge fire and a very hot fire so she can burn books faster. So we have to go get this stuff now. She needs a furnace ring and a bundle of perfect firewood.
And Jen, where do those things come from?
Those are what you crafted.
Thanks, Jen.
Right. Oh, yeah, because you were like... you had leveled your crafter, but you hadn't gotten the mastery thing or the specialist thing yet.
Yes.
Right. Okay, that's right. So, I had already... Levi was like, are you maxed out on your Grand Company seals? I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Which is 50,000. And he's like, oh, no, it should be 80,000. I'm like, bro, I'm still a lieutenant, okay? I haven't started... I haven't unlocked enough... I haven't done enough in the challenge log, apparently, to get any recruits for my squadron. So I haven't been able to do any squadron shit, therefore I haven't leveled up on that end. I have maxed out as an enlisted man, I think. So I only had 50,000 seals to spend, which bought me 2 Bombard cores. Then I sold a whole bunch of gear, barely eked out enough for another 20 grand to get a third, and then running the dungeons, I got all that bullshit gear, sold that back off. This is rough. So yeah, 80,000 fucking company seals later, I've got these Bombard cores, but now I can't even buy a venture. So you had to craft these 2 things. Oh, okay. Yeah. We had to find some shit to desynth it. So we had to get a rare drop from something. And then
you buy materials in the Silver Bazaar. There is a list of 8 aged items in the Silver Bazaar.
Oh my god, yes. It's so random,
that
dude.
you buy for 3K each, And then when you desynth them, you have a chance to get a rare desynth, which is an ingredient for this thing we have to turn in.
I had to buy like 6 of these things. I mean, I'm just hemorrhaging money at this point.
So Jen did the desynth work. We both did ours. We got our materials from that. Fortunately, you can trade these things because otherwise people without crafters would be screwed at this point. So for this particular quest line, 1 of 4, Jen, we need to get like a carpenter desynth and then a goldsmith desynth. We do so. Then we have to craft the stuff. This requires you to have the master recipes. And unlike in any expansion, master recipes in A Realm Reborn require you to trade in some crap to the guy in Mordona.
Mm-hmm.
I had my carpenter master recipes, but not my goldsmith master recipes because we did goldsmith very late, Jen, episode-wise.
Yeah.
So we get mastered up. And then you have to craft these fairly difficult recipes. They have to be high quality. They cannot be normal quality.
Mm-hmm.
So to make this high quality firewood and high quality like furnace, whatever ring for each of us. And then I give Jen hers. Again, good thing they're tradable. And then we can turn them in to Gajusana. And then
Papana, right?
Yeah, right. Gajusana is her friend.
Yeah.
So Papana says, sorry about all the runaround. But it was for my friend Gajusana who took care of me when I was in a rough spot because apparently Gajusana's lover stole some coin from the band of thieves they were in. And then the band says you have to pay us back for your lover's theft. And also you're kicked out. So I don't know why she feels like she has to pay them back when she got kicked out. So then she went to Rowena to get help. So now Gajusana is super screwed and Papana's doing it all for her. We don't know anything about Papana's problems besides being a piece of shit gaslighter, pretty much.
Yeah, total scam artist.
Yep. Anyway, though, it was all for friendship, so it's all good, Jen.
Apparently. Nice
all
little
right.
sob story.
After that, we get the first thing, the Book of Heroes. We done it, Jen.
Yay. Yay.
Buckle up, Jen, next time for 3 more of the same-ish quest steps. Nice. That will be it for today's Relic installment. Next time, we will be completing our relics and getting that super sweet kettle that we talked about at the very beginning.
At long last.
Yeah. As of this time, we still have our Far RR Well series going on. It will be too late, I think, for the scavenger hunt. So congrats to whoever won that sweet Night Pegasus. But there's still time to hop on Jen's trivia.
Woo!
So I believe this coming weekend, if I have the recording versus release schedule correct, this coming weekend is when Jen is going to be hosting some A Realm Reborn trivia. There will be more prizes, including an Island Pirifool mount,
Hey.
which is super sweet, Jen.
It is super sweet.
That is thanks to our
event coordinator
Golden's donation.
Technically, her title is a party finder, right?
Correct. Yes. Anyway, Golden put the Pirifool in. So thank you for that. You can win that if you do super well at Jen's trivia.
Yeah, join up and we'll study up for sure.
And we still have a minimum item level Labyrinth of the Ancients run coming up too. So if you want to get in on that pain, if you missed it the first time or want to relive it, then hop on for that min eye level run.
Awesome.
Okay. Anyway, we will see you next time.
And that will do it for today's episode. Thank you all so much for listening. And thank you all for hugging that left wall. If you want to get in touch with us, you can at podreturnffxiv@gmail.com. Check the show notes for the Discord, and that's where you're going to get all that farewell activity stuff, as well as, share pictures, talk about the game, join group runs, talk about literally whatever. Everybody's awesome, and we would love to have more awesome people. And you can also check us out on Blue Sky at podreturnffxiv. And finally, our Patreon at podreturnffxiv. And for $1 a month, you get access to everything else that we're doing, which is the seasonal events from 14 and our Final Fantasy XI series, Vana'diel Vansplainer. So check it out. And with that, we hope you enjoyed the episode. Have a good day or night, and we will see you next time.